Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your options for a fifth source. So for this project, you know that four of your sources have to come from the library, so like EBSCO or SAGE, and they have to be peer reviewed. But for your fifth source, you have a little bit more leeway. And so many of you are probably going to choose to use a web source for that fifth source. And so if that's something that you choose to do, you're going to have to fill out this form called the CRAP form. And so what I'm going to do today is kind of talk you through it and give you a little activity to work on to practice using it. So even if you don't wind up using the source that you fill this form out for, it's good sort of practice with learning how to differentiate between what's a credible web source and what's not. So we're just going to go through each one of the letters in CRAP. So when you're filling out this worksheet, the first letter in CRAP obviously is C, and that has to do with currency. So what you're looking for here is information that's relevant. So 5 years is a good rule of thumb. You don't want things generally that are older than that, unless you're looking at like a historical kind of topic. You definitely want to think about for your topic, how recent information do you kind of need for it to be useful to you? If it's something that changes a lot over time, you don't want something from maybe even 5 years ago is too old. So we're just going to look at like a sample website and go through some of these questions. So let's just imagine my topic is gender and advertising. So let's see. Obviously, you know for this assignment, Wikipedia is out. You can't use dictionary sources like about.com or Wikipedia. Even for your fifth source, that doesn't count. It has to be actual credible websites. So this one looks interesting. Gender and advertisement. Let's just pick this one. Okay, so the first thing I'm looking for, like I said, is currency. So is this relatively recent? A lot of times if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll see a date of last update. So this is 2012. Sometimes this date can be kind of misleading because you'll see like this information here, but then an actual article that's posted on the website itself is much older. So you want to be on the lookout for not just the date of last update, but if there's a date associated with like a post that you're looking at. So like, let's see, it looks like there are types of advertisements that are being like, I'm gonna guess it's like examples of advertisements. Okay, so yeah, here's some ads. And I'm not really seeing here any other dates other than the date of last update. I might also look at just some general information about the website itself to see maybe how long it's been around to give me a general sense of the dates. And when I do that, let's see. Okay, so I can see this website was created back in 2002, so the very oldest information here is going to be about 10 years old. And it might be the case when I look at individual ads, I can tell. Maybe some of those are older than others. So 10 years, not the greatest, but it is something that's obviously been updated within the past couple of years. Looks like maybe it's a project that's been abandoned. So I'm going to go into my CRAP form, then I'd write about that here. It looks like 2012 was the date this website was sort of last updated. However, there are posts that go back to 2002. Given my topics about advertising, 10 years, depending on what I'm looking at, might be a big deal. So I definitely want to note that there. All right, so we're done with C, on to R. R is reliability. So what kind of information is in the website? Is it like all opinion? Does it seem really biased? Or are there citations and references so that we can tell this author is not just making stuff up based on what they think about things? So if I'm kind of looking, let's say, go back to this page here. All right, so I'm looking the text here. I'm not seeing any citations or other people sort of referenced here. That's sort of alarming to me a little bit. So I might continue to kind of just look, see what else is on this website, if maybe there are other places in which this person cites. Okay, so here we have academic citation. And you don't want to just stop with like, oh God, there's a citation. This is an awesome site. You want to actually look and see, is it a good citation? Is it actually a, like, they're not just citing Joe Schmo, but this looks like an actual article about women in the media. Here's another article, Patricia Hill Collins. Something I could then do is just like Google these sources and see, are they actually like credible sources too, just to make sure. But it looks like here we do have some sources. So it's important you do a little bit of digging. You don't just give up after not finding them right away. And as I'm kind of looking through the text, it doesn't really seem like he's, just sharing his opinion about the ads. It looks like he's actually exploring some of the issues that other people have written about, kind of being more informational than biased. So in my reliability section here, I might talk about he's giving information about typical traits in advertisements. He's referencing some of these other sources, see the citations and references. It doesn't seem like he's just sort of spouting off at the mouth, let's say, about what he has to say. So we're done, halfway done here. The next step is A for authority. We really need to figure out who's the author of the site, and in the case that there is a sponsor or a publisher, that information is important too, and whether or not this person is qualified to be writing what they're writing. So again, this is going to require a little digging. We know Scott Lucas from the bottom of the page here is the person who's written this page, so see if we can find out who this person is, right? Let's see. Menu, maybe background. Oh, here's a bio. Scott Lucas. Okay, we know he's a PhD. Oh, he's a professor of anthropology and sociology. So, and he's written a couple of books, won some awards. He's probably a pretty credible guy, and don't be fooled by someone's credentials. So just because they're, for instance, a doctor or they have a PhD, you want to look at like what do they actually have that degree in, because sometimes it'll be something totally irrelevant. So here, anthropology and sociology is very much related to gender and advertisements. Like that's what I would expect someone to have a degree in. And then another step I would do is just to Google Scott Lucas and see what else I can find up, just to make sure he's not lying in his bio here. And then once I would do that, then I could answer this A portion of the question. The author is Scott Lucas. He's a PhD in this area. It doesn't look like there's any sponsor or publisher. And then I would move to P for purpose. So this is our last step. We really want to consider, why has somebody put this page together? That's sort of the first question. And sometimes if you go to About, you can get that information. So like here, he's a teacher. He made this for his students originally. And then other people wanted copies, so he made a website. And he's using it to connect with other educators and work with scholars around the world. So it's not like he's doing this to sort of, promote his own, nut job opinions about something, but he actually has like good information he's kind of wants to share with other people interested in this topic. So I would answer that portion of the question there. The domain is important to look at. So this is actually a .com. It used to be that domains could tell us a lot about websites, but in today's age, pretty much anyone can buy any kind of domain name that they want. So don't be fooled automatically just because something's a .com that you can't use it. And the same goes for don't be fooled by just a .edu or especially a .org. That doesn't automatically mean that something is good. Or automatically credible. You still need to go through the rest of the crap tests to make sure that a .org is a reliable source. So this is a .com, which is sort of alarming to me, just because usually that means that some profit is being made. However, I don't see any advertisements here, so that's another important thing to look at. There's no ads anywhere. Other than, obviously, he's looking at gendered ads, but there are no ads that are making him money on this website. So I would say it doesn't look like he's trying to turn a profit here at all. Another thing to pay attention to in terms of P for purpose is just also how something looks. This looks pretty professional. It's not like, again, Joe Schmo put it together in his basement and it's looks like it's out of 1990s, like early web design. It looks pretty professionally put together, so that's good too. And then the last question again is just about fact versus opinion. I'd say this still seems pretty factual to me. So once you've filled out your entire CRAP form, you kind of want to weigh, your answers to each question. Does your website pass in most areas, but in one it's sort of shady? Then you really have to kind of think about whether or not that source is going to be a good fit for you. Ideally, for a source to be credible, it really needs to pass all 4 areas of the test with flying colors, really. It has to strongly pass. If you have any kind of question about any section of the CRAP test, you probably don't want to use that particular source in a research project. So, now that you know a little bit more about what each section of the CRAP form means, what I'd like for you to do for your assignment for today is to get yourself on the web and find a web source that you might use for your topic. So y'all have research topics picked out, use Google, whatever, try and find yourself a website that that relates to your topic in some way, and then fill out the CRAP form here for that that website that you're looking at. It doesn't matter if it doesn't pass. You don't have to use this source in your project, but it's a good kind of exercise in seeing what's out there and whether or not it's going to pass this test. So you can find this form on GryphonGate. So if you are on our main page in GryphonGate, you will see it under handouts and project 3 readings. It's right here, the CRAP test for web sources. So now that you're finished with the video, just open up that document. It looks just like the one we've been working with. Find yourself a website related to your topic. Fill in this worksheet for that website. And then there's also a spot here on GryphonGate under coursework for you to turn it in. In fact, I'll show you exactly what that looks like real quick. Okay, so we just go to coursework, and you'll see right here, CRAP form for potential web source, bada bing, upload your file, and bada boom, and you're done for today. And like I said, this counts for attendance and for participation today. And if the website you wind up finding passes the CRAP test according to your worksheet, then that might be a source that you wind up using for your final project. And you do have to submit a CRAP form if you go with a website for that 5th source, and that comes in to me in a couple of weeks, so you'll have already done the homework for that if you wind up using this particular source.